Hey, nice to see ya. Yep, we got it all done. We even learned how to do some lighting, made a bookshelf, some nice furniture. You want to see how I put it all together? Keep watching. I'll just read this one. Oh my gosh, this is it. We're gonna finish it today. So this is all gonna be basically the building. All the doors and windows and lighting. It's tricky. As long as you read the instructions 3 or 4 or 5, 20 times, you'll get it. But I did have some sticky spots, so you'll see in a minute. So here what we're gonna make is a little wreath for the door. It consisted of 4 of our little dandelion looking flowers. So it's basically making little fringes, wrap it up, and make a fringy little flower. And then the only difference is you're going to make a long skinny strip of grass and wrap it around the wire, put it in a loop, stick the flowers on and the little bell, and you got yourself a wreath. All right, here it says lamp, but there's actually several different lighting fixtures. So you're going to make a light, I guess a lamp, and then you're going to make a ceiling fan, and then you're going to make a couple little wall sconces. And they're pretty straightforward. Just follow the instructions and stick them all together. The first one you're going to do is this tall, skinny light, and it's got a flower inside, and it goes by the front door. Once we're done, you'll see it. So it's our little famous dandelion guy, couple little leaves, and it goes in on the bottom. It's kind of like a display cabinet, I suppose. You're also going to be doing a little ceiling fan. You kind of sandwich these little blades in between 2 circles. So I had to do this in stages, just kind of glue it, let it dry, and then put the top piece on. But it came out just fine, and it looks like a ceiling fan. Another thing you'll find yourself doing pretty much during this whole entire project is you're going to be multitasking. So you'll do a little bit of this, let that glue dry, and while that glue dries, you're going to do a little bit of another thing. So you'll see that I'm making the other lights at the same time as I'm letting the main lamp dry, for example. And then I'm going to be putting together the light fixture of the ceiling fan while the wall sconce dries. So lots of multitasking. right, next we're going to do the little shop sign that sticks on the outside of the building. And it's got a light built into the middle. You just got to cut out the outside sign part of it, stick it onto the piece of wood, and put the little pieces on. Pretty easy. Okay, while we let that dry, we're gonna make the front steps. It's just 3 pieces of wood, and oh, look at that. That's that piece that we had for the wrong piece for the chair. So I had to peel off all the material, which is fine. You get it all covered up with paper anyway, so all good. And you just fold it, wrap each of the pieces of the wood, and stack them up, and you got little steps. You're also going to make a little teeny tiny post box or mailbox, and it's just gluing the little post sticker on there and then putting the 2 sides and the top on. Pretty easy. All right, after we do the little post box, we're going to do the rain cover or awning, whatever you want to call it. It's real basic. It's 1 piece of paper, fold the end down, and then it's got kind of these 2 little A pieces, and you glue those to the side and let them dry. They'll come into play at the end. All right, now we got the windows. This one was a little bit tricky because there's a lot of parts and pieces, and they're all different sizes. So the chart that it came with was very helpful. I measured to make sure I had the right pieces to the right window. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward, just making little boxes. And of course, we knew this was going to happen. There's more books to be made. There was only about 6 of them, so it wasn't that bad. But flashback to when we made all the bookcases, as we just cut it out carefully and fold them up and glue. You got little books. Okay, we're getting really close. Now we're building the roof. This one wasn't too hard. It had a couple steps that I kind of changed it because it just didn't work out how I wanted it to. But for this one side, it's basically a skylight, and you're building it just like the windows. Build a box and put the top on top. This is where I did it how they said to do it. So you take that window frame and then you put in these little slats. And I did it exactly that, but as soon as I picked it up, it all fell apart. So what I did is I flipped it upside down and then put in the slats and then let it dry that way. Otherwise, it's just gonna fall to pieces. Next, you're going to glue the ceiling fan and the hanging light onto the roof part. You want to use the super glue because otherwise the white glue that we know and love won't stick to those wires. The only problem with using the super glue is it does take longer to dry, so you end up sitting there waiting for it to dry until you can get to the next part. But just take patience and you'll get it. Things are going to start getting exciting now. We are going to glue the base. So this one's super easy. It's in 2 parts. So all you do, just kind of like wallpaper, I guess, is you cut it out, put it on the base, and match up the ends, and let it dry. We're making walls now. This is just cover the wood with the paper, and there's a lot of them, so it's a little tedious, but it's rewarding at the end because it does look really nice. we're going to start putting it together. So all those windows that we built, they fit into the slots, or the wall holes, I guess. Just follow the chart so you know which window goes where, and the only part that I was paranoid about is which end was up. So look at the picture, make sure you got the right part that's facing up, otherwise you're going to be a world of hurt at the end. And also, once we start putting the walls up, they don't fit exactly how the little pattern says, but I'll show you in a minute. Alright, here we go. This is when I put the steps up and go, wait a minute. See how the steps are higher than the floor? I looked through those instructions a bajillion times and couldn't figure it out. So I did end up setting it aside, doing the doors, and the door is about a half an inch to, there's a gap underneath, so I knew something was wrong. What I did to fix it is I basically lifted the whole floor up. I had to pry it off. Luckily, I didn't really glue it too much, but it did stick to the side walls. Lifted it up with a spoon and a lot of leverage, and then I noticed that, hey, I had 2 extra pieces that must stick on the front porch. So I stuck those on, and it all worked out in the end. You're going to end up with all these wires sticking out, so just glue it according to the chart right along the very top of the wall so it kind of tucks them away. And again, we're using the super glue that dries super slow, which you would think would be the exact opposite. So you're just going to hold it down until it sticks and then move on to the next wall and just keep on going. Okay, now you can see where I'm prying the floor up, because after doing it all and I thought about it, I just ended up just raising the floor, not the roof. But I raised the floor up. I used some of the extra foam that you use for the flower pots, and I put it in there kind of as to hold up the back end of the floor. And then I just glued in those little side pieces in the front, and it actually fit how it was supposed to. Go figure. Now we get to have some fun. Let's place some furniture. And we also get to place the flowers. Now, the way these walls fit it ended up with some exposed beams, and it kind of bugged me. So what I did is I just painted all those side beams that doesn't look like brick black, and that way it just looked like an extra piece of wood on the building, and it fit. It's just a way that I wanted it to look more uniform. Lastly, we're gonna organize all these wires. This is a whole new thing for me. I've never really done wiring. So reading the instructions, it said to cut away a little bit of the plastic covering so that you can twist them all together. It doesn't look like it from here, but there is a light gray color wire and a white wire for each light. So you match all the white wires, and this is what I did wrong first, is I matched all the white wires to the white wire to the main power source, and all the gray wires to all the gray main power source, and the lights didn't work. I read the instructions, go figure, the instructions were correct. You're supposed to put the white wire from the power source to the gray wires of your lights, and the gray wire from the power source to all the white wires on your lights, and it works. And we're all done. It's the most cutest, adorablest little bookstore you ever did see. I do see some little glue pieces, but you just take those off, clean it up, and I'm pretty proud of myself. It was tricky. I learned some new skills, and I will definitely use some of these things that I learned in my other builds, because I plan on making more castles and houses and things like that. Maybe not from kits, but I can definitely create something from scratch. And the best part is when it's all lit up. Doesn't that look cool? I'm so proud of doing that. I'd never done lighting before, and this just turned out so nice. And I'll definitely be doing something else like this again. I hope you enjoyed this and learned some new skills, and maybe inspired you to go out and get you a kit and build one of your own. And they're lots of fun. Just take patience and time. And if you like this video, definitely subscribe and give me a like. I would love it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.